Okay, I'm gonna make a how well every character has implemented the tag mechanic in Dokkan. I won't waste your guys' time and just jump right into it. Okay, this is the list. Um, I'm not gonna lie to you. I made this list. I'll zoom in a bit. We definitely zoomed in too far. Uh, I made this list just off the top of my head. I'm gonna look at the units kits on the Dokkan wiki and try to see if I have any sort of discrepancies that I'm misremembering about these characters. Starting from the bottom in F tier, I'll start with this Trunks and I'll go like pretty quickly. The Trunks and Frieza are in the bottom tier because they almost shouldn't even like be tag units. They're kind of very, very worthless. You know what I mean? And I think this. Okay, where is he? He's right. Uh, where's the Trunks Kid plus Goten Kid? To my knowledge, look at this. One turn, 30% damage reduction. Yeah. Pretty much, to my knowledge, he was worthless until you could exchange with Goten. Active skill, grid, and changes in case used the physical. And then he could exchange with Goten when starting from the fourth turn from start of battle. He could exchange with Goten. To my knowledge, on release, he was pretty worthless, and then Goten was solid with a key sphere guard. 30% damage reduction in guard. Yeah, 30% damage reduction in guard is a free to play character who's also kind of nuking here. This Goten was okay, but it's a terrible implementation of the tag mechanic because the character is worthless until you can tag into the form that actually matters, which is this one. And also, you're not like choosing between each form. You're basically just like going into Goten the second you get it and staying in Goten. Yeah. So next is Frieza. Frieza, I think, Frieza's issue on release was a very similar thing where wrong click. A very similar thing where he was just like kind of worthless until you got into Goku. And I think that's just that's a terrible way to implement the tag mechanic, is a character that tags eventually and they're terrible until you unlock their tag. That's basically just a transformation character. If you make a tag character where their tag isn't instantly available and they're objectively better in one form, either of those things is like, it's bad, but combining them is like hilariously bad. Like, it is really, really bad. So this character just combines them. Fourth turn from start of battle, and then you go into Goku. And Goku, of course, as you guys remember, was a really solid, really strong character. If they could tag right away, they'd be good. But even then, I still have them in F tier because the Frieza is like almost worthless, or he was almost worthless in pretty much every single fight, and it definitely it definitely showed, I think. Moving on, who's next? Okay. I agree with my placements there. I think my placements there are deserved. Rose, terrible implementation of the tag mechanic. Just looking at this, I probably would move you up a bit and keep these two down here. I think these two bottom two implemented this tag mechanic similarly, where one form was basically just it was basically just like active skill slop. Like, you use the active skill and then you just didn't use the form besides that. You could say the Goku Black version was a bit worse in implementing the tag mechanic because, like I said, this character is just objectively better in every way than the Zamasu. But except for you wanted to use the Zamasu active skill sometimes. You could say that the Blue Goku and Vegeta, they may have implemented the tag mechanic a bit better. And I guess your argument there might be that if you look at like this character, Blue Goku and Vegeta actually might like they might I guess they might have certain situations where Vegeta can do like more damage. I haven't seen like numbers on it, but I'm pretty sure if in most situations, Rose is doing like more damage and is still better defensively like all of the time in every major difficult fight where it matters than Zamasu is. So I don't really see a situation where you ever want to stay in Zamasu for the turn. I've seen people try it. I've tried it myself, and it's just like you always want to be in Goku Black. You maybe if you want to get like the HP heal from being below 60% HP, you can pop the active skill to get this, and it works. You know, I think there could be, if they made this character able to tag from turn 1, then you could make the justification that Zamasu has use. Maybe you have this character turn 2 and you take a bunch of damage turn 1, and then you don't have the active skill available yet, which I believe is available. Oh no, the active skill is upon entering attacking turn. I thought this might have been 4 turns from start of battle, because that's when the tag is available. But I guess this is technically 4th turn from start of battle, because it is when you can tag into Zamasu, you just get it right away. But yeah, I guess this is pretty useless. I guess even if you were able to tag into Zamasu right away, you might be able to get multiple uses out of this. Like, you might be able to use the perform and recover 6% of damage dealt as HP when HP is 60% less. Like, let's say you get this character turn 2, you have him turn 2, you take a bunch of damage turn 1, then you use the Zamasu active, stick in Rose, then, you know, turn 4 they come back and you took a bunch of damage on turn 3, you can just go to Zamasu and heal up again. Like, you know, that could have been a use of him, but they made it so you basically tag turn 4 and it does so much damage and is giving you so much damage, and the way the fights were working on release, it didn't matter. And, you know, also it's a similar thing with Blue Goku. It's a similar thing with Blue Goku, where he just is head and shoulders better, especially on the active turn, than Vegeta is. Oh my goodness, I guess it won't let me fucking scroll, but I guess their reasoning in making these characters like this is that perhaps they intended, like, if you look at look at this, when all allies are superclass or when there is a future star category ally attacking in the same turn, it's like, and then you have per superclass or future star category on the team, depending on which has more. They saw these conditions, and I don't believe Vegeta has these conditions. And if I'm not mistaken, doesn't he not have them? Yeah, he doesn't have them. So maybe they were thinking, okay, if you don't have those things up, then you could just tag into Vegeta and, you know, get a bunch of effects that aren't, you know, restricted. I think that might have been their line of thinking, but I just don't think. I think they needed to make the tag available right away if they were thinking like that, because Goku Black also has that line as passive. I should have pointed it out, but Goku Black also has a line where he requires extreme class allies or future saga category allies, and I think that was maybe their thinking, but it just did not pan out. I think it just panned out in a way where it's like the conditions were so easy during their celebration that you always use the characters. I guess, oh my goodness, tell me it didn't reset. It didn't. But like looking at it, I'll just like glaze through a bit of these. Tech Vegito, AGL Gogeta. They're both about the same, but I think AGL Gogeta implements it a bit better, because I think this Goku loses like 99.9% of his value after the first couple of turns, and essentially it is the most, like, I think Goresh said this too, it is a very boring way to handle like Vegito and the tag, that Vegito was just like objectively the choice you make. You weren't like switching back and forth between Goku and Vegeta and battling, and then maybe you fuse into Vegito at the right time. Vegito always felt like the right choice, and I think I'm gonna go a step further and say Vegeta felt like the right choice too often. You could justify like moving this character up a bit more, because I think this character, like, it wasn't always like Vegeta was like the best option. Sometimes you would get Vegeta turn 4, but you would still have Goku's damage reduction up, and so it would be worth it to stay in Goku and maybe attack stack a bit more. But I think the attack, like I haven't said this, but I said it on Twitter at one point. The attack stacking is such a boring reason to stay in. This character running out of 50% damage reduction after 3 turns is the lamest thing ever, because it just makes it like, okay, you have Goku, and then there's always a situation where Goku or Vegeta is objectively better than the other. Like it's like there's always like, I don't know, like it felt like a transformation. It felt like after a certain amount of time, Vegeta becomes better than Goku. Like, you know what I mean? Like, once you get, it's not that like, oh, after a certain amount of time, you know, if after, you know, this many turns, Vegeta becomes better. It's like, no. Goku gets worse and Vegeta becomes actually available. Vegeta is available, very, you know, in many situations, the, you know, first second Vegeta becomes available, Goku has already become worse. And so it's basically, the game is forcing you to go into Vegeta, or it's forcing you to use the Vegito. Like, it's not letting you tag between Goku and Vegeta. The game is telling you what to do. And like, that is, in my opinion, incredibly unfun. I do not like that. That is very, very boring to me. That is terrible design. I think they did a similar thing with this character, except you can justify moving this character higher, maybe even like up here, because in my opinion, the AGL Gogeta, like the Goku being a dodge character and the Vegeta having double guard actually makes it so that I think the tag, like Vegeta running out of guard, and I believe it's stat, I'll check it right, I should check that just to be certain, but Vegeta, I believe, runs out of guard, and is it like 300% defense? Maybe. I'm not 100% sure. Man, oh my god, it's lagging. I believe Vegeta runs out of 100% defense and guard, but he has guard, I believe, in slot 2 anyway. So it's not like you do. I think, in my opinion, this character remains as a tag that, for 3 turns, 300% defense and guard. So this, but in my opinion, like if you look, where is it? As second or third attacker, guard, additional super, you know, he has all this, like he's getting defense on his super attack effects. He is still, you know, he's still getting 100% defense when attacking. Like, I think, in my opinion, this character remains viable as a slot 2 character. And even, I think if you look at it, even more viable than this guy as a slot 2 character. This guy is, you know, starting with what? What's it? Is it medium? I think the story has medium. Chance of hitting attack with 10 or more key. 10 Renegade attack 10%, and that's the first attacker. So this guy is basically just a first slot merchant. Like, he's not that good outside of the first slot. But when Vegeta's abilities run out, he's still good. He's still better than this guy outside of the first slot. This guy isn't guarding outside of the first slot. This guy only has a 10% chance to dodge outside of the first slot. He isn't getting a bunch of defense when attacking. He's a fish outside of the first slot. Okay, and I guess he is when receiving attack, but this just isn't enough with no guard and no dodge and no damage reduction. It's like the Vegeta is still guarding with pretty good defense, whereas the Vegito unit, I think it's just like, let's go look at the Vegeta. Let's go look at the Vegito unit. I mean, I'll pull up Vegeta. I won't search Goku because it will take longer, unfortunately. But this guy becomes a fish for the first 3 turns, 50% damage reduction, and then it's gone. He doesn't get that. Like, if like Vegeta basically has this, but like past the first 3 turns, he still like is viable in slot 2. Like, this guy is like, what is it, 40% damage, 20% here, and then where is it? 20% here. Yeah, 20% when 20% as a second and third attacker, 20% when attacking. Like, it's just not enough. It's not enough. This guy is still better because, like we just showed, Goku has 40% damage reduction in slot 2. So right, so you'd have to think, okay, Goku's still the better slot 2 unit. Like with the Vegeta, the Vegeta is still the better slot 2 unit. The first form is still the better slot 2 unit even after the abilities run out. So no, you get to choose. Like, you know, if I'm running them in slot 2, I run the second form, and or if I run them in the first form if I'm running on slot 2, and then I run them in this form if they're in slot 1. Vegeta just has, when receiving attack with 10 or more ki, 20% damage reduction. As the first attacker, he guards, right? And then he has 50% damage reduction right here. So he just has naturally in slot 2, after Goku's ability runs out, he has 30% more damage reduction. And it's like, it is worthless. It is completely worthless to go into to use Goku at a certain point beyond his stacking, which is, I think, that's just terrible tag design. That's not good tag design. I think once people realize that, they'll realize that these characters are, both of them, I don't think were designed expertly when it comes to tagging. But I think the Vegito unit, I think, is definitely worse. Caulifla and Kale, honestly, would be number one on this list. These guys could be like SZ. They're somewhere here. Caulifla would be number one on this list, right? If the tag was not fucking turn 6. If the tag was not turn 6 and it was earlier, not turn 6. Turn 6. Guys, I swear I'm not making this up. I swear if I look at this right now and it's not turn 6, I'll move them higher. I will move them higher. Starting from the 6th turn from the start of battle, meets up with Kale, Super Saiyan 2 Kale, can't perform reversal exchange. It's just too long. Like, you just wait. This is not like once you get this available, the active skills, this character feels like they should be able to tag turn 1. The active skills, they have choice. This girl, Caulifla, is Universe 6 support on her active skill. Kale is a self big damage, you know. She's doing herself crazy damage. Just helped her crazy amount. But it's just turn 6. If you could tag turn 1 with this character, change nothing but let them tag turn 1, they move up all the way. But needing to tag turn 6, it essentially became you choose how you end the fight. Like, it was really dumb. I think that was just a very stupid decision, in my opinion. That would have like easily helped this character's case and made them a very fun tag unit. We move into this category. I think you can move Golden Frieza a bit higher. I just think Gogeta is too much better too often. Once you have Gogeta available. Once you have Gogeta available, he's too much better than Frieza, in my opinion. I think Frieza should have like remained having some usage. Like, if Frieza just turned into like a support, like once Gogeta was available, Frieza turned into a support unit, like a strong support unit or something like that. That would have been nice. But like, you know, this Golden Frieza is just too much worse than Gogeta. Once Gogeta is available, he's just way better. So it like I said, it doesn't feel like a tag. It feels like a transformation. It doesn't feel like a tag. It doesn't feel like a transformation. That is the issue with this character. Now, with that being said, this Frieza has very generous timings. It's a bit similar to these two characters, the Gamma, Super Duo tag characters for New Year's, where I didn't talk about them, but they have generous timings on there. So you sort of, even though this runs out after 5 turns, right? Even though, starting from the 6th turn, you get this, there's sort of like a bit of, like I said, there's generous timing. Like, and also, this guy also has a target active, but the choosing between which character's active is better as a point of, look, they did the tag well. You have to choose between the actives. That's not cool to me. I definitely think that the timings, like, okay, when 3 or more superclass starting from the 3rd turn from the character's entry turn. So basically, you can do this turn 3, right? And then, but like it's I wish I would have known that it said it right here, the condition. You can do this turn 3, but like I said, Frieza's abilities don't run out until turn 5. So, or after turn 5. So you definitely, it's a similar thing with this Gohan down here, where Gohan is the objectively better version of the character, but you don't have to use the tag, or you can't, you can use the tag earlier. This is worse. Yeah, this is worse. Frieza's is restricted, but it can be turn 3. On a lot of teams, it's going to be turn 3. But, this definitely hurts him, is that starting for the 4th turn, start a battle, but then, for 5 turns. So like you have that little window where there is like a bit of choice, like between, okay, you still have these abilities up, but Gamma 2 is now available. So Gamma 2 or Gamma 1 is now available, and there are certain bosses where Gamma 1 can be more effective. And I think Gamma 1, this isn't one of the most underrated sides of a tag character in my opinion. Just seeing him, I think people underrated and made it seem like he was a fish to normals on release, when I think that there were certain situations I was watching people like use him, and they're like, oh, he's gonna die to normals here, isn't he? I should just use Gohan. And it's like, yeah, bro, Gohan is like objectively just like a way better defensive unit. But Gamma 1 was not gonna die there. I think the gap was a little bit smaller than people made it out to be, because they were just so impressed with Gohan, right? But like I said, that weird timing where it just feel the Gohan just being the objectively better unit, and the weird timing on it just like is not very enjoyable, I think, to use as a tag character. And I think this character has that issue as well, the Gamma 2 character. I won't pull them up, but I'll say by the time Piccolo is available, you've built up enough dodge to where it feels like in the highest stress situations, this you still want to stick with Gamma 2. In low stress situations, it feels like you just can choose whatever you want. But I'd rather rank based on the high stress situations, but those low stress situations still do exist. These two, Gohan, I think it depends on your team build, whether or not you want to switch into the Goten and Trunks, but the Goten and Trunks generally are just like better, I think. But it's not like one side is objectively just like way better than the other, unless you're on the youth team, and then the Goten and Trunks are way better. But the Goten and Trunks I still think are kind of better, but there still is, like I said, a lot of use for the Gohan. Like the Gohan still can definitely be useful. And I think it's useful because he's just like a defensive tool. He's a defensive tool you can use, but the Goten and Trunks are more of a dodging character. Like, let's look at what they have. Let's look at what this character has, right? When two or more hybrid allies are on the team, start for third turn or starting for fifth turn to start a battle. Okay, this one is not a tough condition. And with 12 or more end key spheres, just generally with one rainbow key sphere obtained, he gets 38% damage reduction. He's starting for one character from character's entry turn. Oh, I guess that is something I didn't think about. He's on his first turn, right? He's really crazy. And then on his after that first turn, he definitely does taper off a bit. One or more key sphere obtained. With 12 or more key spheres or 5 rainbow key sphere obtained, yeah, this extra 20% damage reduction, that definitely does help him, and he gives the support. With the new character, this becomes a bit more obtainable, more than just using this guy's active skill. But it feels kind of team build dependent, depending on what situations you want to use which active skill and which character. And it's not just like it's objectively better. At this point in the fight, it's objectively better to do this. It is like you build your team in such a way where either one can benefit certain situations. And I think that's also why this character is up here. The only reason this character's up here and this character's down here, I think, despite that, is that, dude, you, like, what, 2 or more, third turn from the character's entry turn, right? Let's look at, we don't even have to search. We could just stop like this. Look at this. When there's another Majin Buu star category ally attacking the same turn, bam, right away. You could just get it. And it's like, why they did this for this character and for UI Goku, Ultra Instinct. I didn't even have to search. Bam. Realm of Gods or Power Beyond Super Saiyan. You could just do it, right? Or third turn after that. You know what I mean? The Tag 4s, they also have it. Let's look. They also have it. And it's like, why did they wait for these characters to drop to give that to them, man? Like, so many characters before would be so much more fun to use if they just did this. Like, it wouldn't make them broken. It wouldn't make them busted. They wouldn't be the best unit in the game. Like, freaking Tech Vegito wouldn't be, by far the best unit. Or he was, like, by far the best unit, I guess, on release. But, No, I think Beast was actually not too far behind. I guess in that meta, Beast might have been far behind because the bosses were not particularly difficult, but they were just tanky, and so you just needed offense to finish them before they randomly caught you off guard. But the thing is, like, Tech Vegito would not, like, right now, right this very second, be like the best unit in the game still if you could tag from turn one. He would just have aged way better. Like, he just would have aged way better. And even then, he might not, on release, it would feel like you have choice, you know, if you're in the, you know, if you're in a situation where they get locked in slot one, you can just, you know, put them in the Vegeta form. And if you can tag turn one, you put them in Vegeta, you're good. If you get locked in slot two, it might be better just to leave them in Goku, because Goku can handle slot two better on his first couple of turns, you know what I mean? With that 90% damage reduction. If there's AoEs and you just want to put them in slot one with like the guard and damage reduction with Vegeta, you can put them in slot one with the guard and damage reduction with Vegeta. It's like, there just needed to be that choice with Tech Vegito that isn't there, that makes it a fun tag unit. And I think they did a better job with these two characters up front. I have the UI Goku and Evo unit lower, and I have a gap before this character because, in my opinion, there is like kind of in modern content like a best way to use this Evo, which is boring, but it's boring and it sucks, but it is the truth that you kind of just want to stick an Evo and float this character off as long as possible and preserve the UI Goku first turn guaranteed dodge for as long as possible, which, you know, is very boring, but is kind of the best playstyle with this character. But also, I think a very boring aspect of this character's kit is that the Vegeta side, essentially, another reason they're not higher is the Vegeta side. I'm searching. I don't need to search. These characters are right here. The Vegeta side has a massive flaw that just pisses me off. It's so dumb. This should not exist. Never do this again, Dokkan. Never ever do this again, man. Reload the page. Please, reload. Okay, there we go. Never do this again. So he gets this ability. So after his first turn, let's talk about after his first turn. He's guarding, right? 30% damage reduction before attacking. If he gets this built up out on, you know, previous turns, he'll have 70% damage reduction before attacking with guard, right? And then he's getting a lot on attack. So if you'd presume with an active skill attack, he gets all his defense from attacking, and then he's way better, right? No, because actually this is before attacking. I think this should be before attacking, as like maybe like they make it as before, I don't know, performing your ultra super attack or something like that, or before attacking as the first or second attacker in a turn, and then you just do this active in like, I don't know, slot 3, or maybe it doesn't even proc like that if they add that line. But the issue is that before attacking, you use the active skill, and then you can't use this guy. Like, you can't use this guy in slot 1. You can't use him. You can't get use out of this. AoEs will slam him. He will just get touched in slot 1. It's really annoying that that's the case. I think they needed to, perhaps they should have made one of these two abilities. Like, they should have made this when receiving an attack, not when attacking with 12 or more ki. That's what they should have done, is when receiving an attack. So that just baseline, I don't even like maybe want to use the active skill. I want my guaranteed slot 1 character rather than maybe activating and then going into UI Goku once I've used up all my like first turn abilities. But you know, that's my only gripe. That's a bit of my gripe with this character and the choices, is that like it's the illusion of choice, and there should be more choice. I just think they haven't released modern they need to release actual difficult content from this meta, you know what I mean? Like, we need to get new difficult content so that I can say, okay, in these new stages, like, and this is the meta they were made for. But like, they weren't made for any meta that they're currently being used. I guess they were made for an older meta, and it's not like in my opinion, enjoyable. And I don't know, like, what I'm trying to get at is, I feel like the way to use them right now, ideally, is very boring because they might have designed this character for a meta that hasn't dropped yet, but they also just haven't dropped difficult content yet. So it's like, I don't know what they're planning on doing. I don't know. But the Majin, Vegeta, and Goku unit, I really don't have any complaints about the tag of that character. There's still there's like you get choice and you can still activate the abilities even if you haven't built your team in a certain way, depending upon how you've managed your orbs or what orb changers you've brought on the team. It's just well designed all around. Let me know what you guys think. If you have any disagreements, I guess the only character I talked about everyone on here. I'm pretty sure at one point. Oh, I didn't talk about the tag fours. Let's talk about the tag fours. Tag fours, real quick. You basically just stack and then go into Goku once you've stacked enough, or if you fuck up the orbs, which is, in my opinion, not the most fun play style. But Goku can have his uses, and there is kind of like a choice there, in my opinion. So yeah, I'd like more choice. I'd like this character to be higher. I'd like it if Goku maybe had a bit more use, or maybe Goku stacked except slower. But unfortunately, that's just not the case. So let me know what you guys think. I think this is. I'm sticking with this. I think you could move some characters around, and I could see the justification for sure. Especially maybe these two, or even some of the characters in this little glob. I could see it. I really want to know if you think or disagree with me on this one. I want to see some other opinions. I saw some people saying Tech Vegito is the most fun tag unit of all time, and it's like, dude, where's the tag, man? That's not where do we tag? Where are we tagging, bro?